The first lesson we learned today from Liverpool's loss to Crystal Palace in the Community Shield is one that happened before the match even started, and it's very disappointing actually. There was a minute silence for Diogo Jota planned. It was announced in the stadium to the whole crowd that this would be happening. When it did happen, some noise was made from the Crystal Palace end. It's a minority, a tiny minority. It's not reflective of Crystal Palace supporters as a whole. But unfortunately, some people, whether intentionally, I don't know how that could happen in someone's mind, or they'd been drinking too early and got carried away, were making a lot of noise during the minute silence for Diogo Jota. Crystal Palace supporters then told them to shush. That increased the noise levels. Liverpool fans then started to boo, understandably. That increased the noise levels, and the referee had to blow the whistle early, so we didn't even get through a full minute of respect and silence for Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. That's really regrettable, disappointing. A better lesson from the match was that Ekitike at times looked really, really classy. His goal he drifted out to the left, collected the ball, passed it off again, moved centrally, collected the ball again, turned, drifted across the edge of the box. The defender didn't keep up with him. And then it was a very accurate, low-driven shot into the right-hand corner. It wasn't powerful. It was just perfectly placed. He placed it really well. Something we didn't see from Darwin Nunez too well. And so I thought, all right, we've been hearing that Ekitike is Darwin 2.0. No, not on this. He looked really good. When he's running with the ball, he looks silky smooth. And the comparisons that I've made in previous videos to Thierry Henry from watching compilations, the commentary made it as well today. He looked very smooth with the ball for such a tall person, such long legs, and yet glided around the pitch. He had some fantastic one-touch pieces of control and also one-touch passes. There was a brilliant moment that led to an attack where he sort of leaped up to catch a mid-height ball with the outside of his right foot, flicking it onto Wirtz. He had the technique to be able to execute that pass as well. So he had the vision, the understanding, the awareness, the technique, and did it all so smoothly as if he was just playing in the park. It was fantastic to see. He did miss a couple of attempts later on, which might get the Darwin 2.0 boo boys saying, well, there you go. There was a perfect opportunity for a header. He had already beaten his man. He's tall. He was leering over him. And somehow he missed the target entirely. He had a big, wide open goal. He was only 6 yards out. Not wide open, the goalie was there, but he was only 6 yards out. And he completely missed the target. He went completely left of the goal. So that was disappointing to see. And I have read that heading is not his strong suit. Well, for a player that's so tall, you better make heading your strong suit if you're playing in number 9. I think that's something that Slot would want to maximize as a potential weapon from Ekitike. So expect to see him trying to improve in that area. But all in all, very good to see him perform like that. He came off early, and when he did, we got worse. And that means something, right? That means something. If you take off a player and your team noticeably performs worse without him, it means he's doing something well. Third lesson is defense needs to wisen up. They need to get more alert. The whole preseason, I was saying they were sleepy. They were caught on a counter-attack too much. Different personnel. So it's hard to pinpoint any one player. But a general malaise, a general kind of lapse in concentration existed in our defense throughout pre-season. And it was clearly evident here today again. We got caught on a counter-attack a few times. The offside trap failed multiple times because Van Dijk was stepping up, expecting everyone to follow his lead. And whilst Kanate was doing that, Kirkes on the left and Frimpong on the right aren't in tune yet with that. And they weren't. One or the other would be playing someone onside. And so the offside trap would fail, a Palace player would run through, and we'd be in trouble. That happened very early on in the match. Thankfully, Alisson proved he's the best one-on-one goalkeeper in the world again by rushing out and closing down the opportunity. But then just 10 seconds later, Van Dijk gives away a penalty. Very unlike him. He doesn't usually stick out a foot late. He doesn't usually stick out a foot at all. He kind of marshals offensive players out of the way into safe zones and then maybe kind of uses his body to get in between them and the ball. Today, on the edge of the box, he was half a second too late and stuck his foot out without any real need to do it. and took down the Palace player, giving away a penalty, of which Alisson can do anything about it. And then second goal, you would also say Van Dijk was to blame. Because Salah was just on his left. He should have seen him. He should have been alert to that danger. And instead, he's too busy trying to push up to get an offside trap, mistiming it, and with other players not following along again. And a through ball just put Salah in, and it was a nice, cool finish from Salah, to be fair. Now, does that suddenly make Van Dijk a bad player? No way. He's just had one off game. He's still an absolute brilliant defender. But I wonder if they all just need to sharpen up a bit, because they all seem a little bit off it defensively. Although I would say for Frimpong and Kirkez, they did fight. They did get back a lot. They did try their best. I'm really talking about being in tune as a defensive unit. Fourth lesson is an obvious one. Practice penalties. Practice penalties, please. That was the second penalty that Mo Salah missed in pre-season. Second time. And this one was abysmal. It was 2 goals above where it should have been. McAllister had good placement, but no power, no confidence in his shot. Szoboszlai was the only one that looked like he was confident, had practice penalties, and knew exactly what he was going to do. Blasted it in. The rest need to take lessons from him. And the fifth lesson is an interesting one, because it's both a pro and a con. And what I'm talking about is the fluidity in formation. It's not even like they changed formation several times throughout the match. They changed formation several times throughout minutes. And that lack of predictability of where players will be can be a fantastic weapon, because it's hard to mark. And when you get it right, the avenues for attack are so surprising, and players are popping up all over the place and moving around, and the interchanging of players in different positions and drifting in, drifting out, pulling back, moving forward. That was happening a lot. Wirtz was moving to left wing. He was coming back into deeper midfield. He was in 10. He was popping up in number 9 where Ekitike was pulling back. Cody Gakpo was moving into the channels. He was moving back out. That's all well and good when players know where each other may be, when they get used to each other and they're all working from one mind, then that can be so potent going forward. Thing is, they're not like that yet, right? It's going to take time to gel. Ekitike and Wirtz are brand new to the team, and they're making up 2 of the 4, 50% of our attack. And they're very fluid players. They move around a lot. And you could see that in Salah's first half performance. He was hardly involved. And where usually every player in a team would know how to find Salah, no one was finding him. Even Frimpong on the right, as much as I liked his performance, rushing up and down, full of energy and bite and determination, he was very different from Trent. And he wasn't finding Salah. He wasn't setting up Salah. He wasn't sending Salah on runs like Trent did. McAllister wasn't playing. Szoboszlai and Jones should know that, but they're also looking at Wirtz and Ekitike and thinking, well, they're moving around so much, I don't know where to go. You had that with one run in which Szoboszlai picked up the ball from defense. He ran forward, and you could see he was like, I'm not sure who to pass it to, because they're not in positions I expect them to be in. And eventually, he just gave the ball away. It was so full of hesitation. Now, we may have to go through a difficult period of that, where the teams seem like they're not fully gelling until it all does click into place, and then they're going to be monstrous. Just prepare yourself that the first 10 games of the season may not be as smooth as we would like them to be. All right, those are my 5 main talking points. Let me know what you think, what you took from the game today. I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.